Hey YouTube, Belton here. Today's topic, speed! No longer is it limited to fancy panzer drivers blitzing through the forests of the Ardennes. Spicolis of the world rejoice, as the times at Ridgemont High are about to get a whole lot faster, baby. A few days ago, the upcoming patch 0.2.1 for PoE 2 was announced by GGG. With this announcement came a series of proposed changes, most of which seem well-rooted in a positive direction for the game at large. One of these announcements was the introduction of a new series of crafting socketables designed with the intention of allowing for more player agency in the process of gearing up and customizing your character. Yesterday, as a follow-up to this, GGG released its first teaser showcasing some of the upcoming runes, soul cores, and talismans. While this teaser list was not exhaustive, it did certainly get the old creative juices flowing in yours truly, as it pertained to the crafting implications that these new runes presented. While all of the new socketables have downstream implications for build customization and crafting, in today's video we're going to be focusing solely on one of the forthcoming runes, and that is Farrell's Rune of the Chase, which will now appear on the screen above me. As you can see, boots can now get 5% increased movement speed. There are some seriously crazy items that can be made in anticipation of this release that will be highly sought after by just about every player in the game. So today's video, we're going to go over that, how you can prepare for it, how you can optimize this, and what the end game towards that would look like with respect to itemization. Talk about some of those crafting implications, and then we're going to do a live craft here as well. Before we delve into the nitty-gritty though, if you're new to the channel and you're interested in PoE 2 content with a heavy focus on crafting, trading, pretty much all things economy related, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, turn on those notifications. Come and join us as we continue to navigate this ever-evolving element of the game. That being said, boys, let's dive right into it. So, naturally, move speed, we got these trades here. Yeah, put that on ignore. Naturally, movement speed is pretty much the one singular thing that is almost universally looked for on a pair of boots, to the point that if a pair of boots is crafted or is found absent of that single modifier, they are largely considered to be worthless. There are some exceptions to this, of course, certain unique boots, as well as, if you're playing something like Tempest Flurry last league, or Whirling Slash in this league, where your movement speed is correlated to the animation of a skill and is more tied to attack speed. Again, there's no universal rules to anything really in PoE, one of the great things about the game. But, barring that, though, it is really one of those sort of singularly sought after modifiers that really makes the game just a lot more enjoyable. Really one of the biggest elements of, or feelings of power that you can have is moving quickly and going through things. Not only that, but it's also an incredibly strong defensive mechanic. Now, traditionally speaking, in the current iteration of the game, 35% move speed is the maximum that you can roll on a tier 1 prefix on a pair of boots. That's an item level 82 modifier, and that is by far and away the single highest source of move speed that you can get, in particular when you compare that to sources on the skill tree and through things like jewels. It is really a limited thing. You've got 4% there, 2%, 2%, a couple percent right here. Things scattered throughout, 3% right there. Again, it's really a rather hard stat to come by. And because it's so sort of inextricably linked to, the feelings of character power and, one's capacity to clear maps. Again, everything in PoE really always ties back down to rates, right? Time is the only exhaustible resource in PoE, and naturally being able to navigate whatever challenge lays ahead of you in a quick time is going to of course increase the rate in which you can earn. Again, obviously with the presupposition there being that you're earning through mapping or boss killing, of course. Naturally, if you're a hideout warrior like myself, hey, it helps you trade faster. But with that being said, though, that's obviously kind of the rooting philosophy of what makes this so exciting, because again, more than anything, move speed is of paramount importance on boots. So if you take a look here, you'll see that I've got a few different pairs of the highest tier of boots within their defensive distribution. So this is Evasion Energy Shield, the highest base type there, which is Quick Slip Shoes. You can see that it's item level above 82. And then we've got the tier 1 move speed. And on top of that, you'll notice that all of these ones actually have a tier 1 suffix as well. And that'll become important in a minute. And down here, we've just got a bunch of item level 82 sandsworn sandals. That's a hard thing to say. Superior sandsworn sandals. Damn. These are the highest tier of ES boots. And again, these are all item level 82. We got a couple of double tier 1 ones here, and then we only have the one pair, and this is the dragon scale boots, which are the highest evasion tier of boots as well. Now, what we're going to be doing today, aside from, fangirling a little bit over the move speed potential that these runes present, if you look at that through the possibility of just putting that socket into a pair of boots, going from 35 to 40% move speed, that's pretty cool. Now, I'm sure most of you know that using a Omen of Corruption and a Vol Orb, you don't actually have to use an Omen of Corruption, but it makes the odds better, as it removes the possibility to do nothing. One of the possible outcomes from that is to add an additional socket. Naturally, runes going into sockets means that opens up the potential for boots to not just get the 5% move speed from our good old Pharaoh's Rune of the Chase up here, but to get 10%, meaning that you could get 45%. But wait, there's more. One of the sort of little utilized to this point essences that was introduced in this most recent League of PoE 2 is the good old essence of horror. Now, some of you that are familiar with the channel, familiar with the videos earlier in the League, will know that Essence of Delirium was something that I spotted value in right away, and we actually made several mirror chests. That is the new essence that allows a random notable to be added to a prefix of a body armor. And this essence works in sort of a similar fashion, but it focuses on boots. And the benefit that it gives is different. It's not a notable. What does it do? Well, if we take a look here, we can see that it gives 100% increased effect of socketed runes and of socketed soul cores. So what does that mean? Well, that means it doubles the effectiveness naturally. So if we've got 5% move speed, now we've got 10%. And if we've got 2 sockets, it's not 10%, it's 20%. And if we've got tier 1 move speed, it's not 35%, it's 55%. And that just blows anything else in the game out of the water with respect to mobility. And again, I cannot stress how like, it's not doubling. What is that? Let's say your average character is moving around with probably somewhere between 40 to 45%. So you're talking about increasing the base mobility by just having on these boots by about 50% as a marginal gain for most people in the game, if not more. Simply by being able to get this essence combined with these new runes on a double-socketed pair of rare boots. So, what are the stipulations of using this essence? Upgrades a normal item to magic, or a magic item to rare with 1 guaranteed property. Can only be used on gloves or on boots. 100% increased effect of socketed runes and soul cores. Wicked. Dope. Super stoked. Now, how do we know what the actual modifier is going to be? Where does it go, etc.? We can find that information out for this, and if you ever want to consult these things yourself in the future, if you go to PoE2.db, we go to the Essence of Horror here. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of that photo. You can see that the essence modifier is a suffix. That's an important thing to know, obviously. It gives the 100% increased effect of socketed items. And if we hover over the eye here, it'll give you some more of the information, like the fact that it is an essence, soul core. It's item 1, generation type suffix 2, required level 1, and the minimum 100 and 100. Now, if it works the same way as the Essence of Delirium did for the body armors we crafted earlier in the League, that means that the modifier will likely be an item level 1 modifier. This is the essence I was referring to from earlier in the League. You see we got Reaving here fractured onto that one. We got the Stacking Toxins here with triple tier 1. Careful Aim with triple tier 1. Breath of Fire with triple tier 1. Dynamism with triple tier 1. We got several other ones as well littered throughout our tabs. So that was a pretty cool essence, right? And the implications of this one were always pretty interesting. When they first released it, there wasn't really any runes or anything that were exciting enough. But one of the great things about PoE, great things about crafting, and really the best ways or sort of philosophical underpinnings to scalability in this game is just to look for things that can sort of multiplicatively scale, right? When you can have a single sort of vector for improving your character, sort of tangentially apply to something else. That's usually going to be a build or an archetype that is going to do well into the late game. When you think of things like, the skill, the notable pure power, where it takes something like your intelligence and it gives you percentage damage from it. Obviously, that adds an additional layer of scaling from something that wouldn't otherwise do that, similar to Jack of all trades. And when you think of things like Howa and stuff like that too, these tend to be, very commonplace in the end game, because it allows you to take something that just has, this one singular effect traditionally and use it for something else, right? Without having to sacrifice innately any kind of character power. And those cascading levels of scalability and multiplicative levels of scaling are really what make things kind of get out of hand at times. And that's in a good way, of course, because that's obviously the most fun part of the game. So when you see something where it says 100% increased effect of socketed runes or soul cores, that has great implications for the long run, not just only with this simple rune that's coming out here, because naturally, if you can get this modifier onto your boots or gloves, any future soul cores or runes that they put on that are going to be subject to this as well. And it is not outside the realm of possibility that GGG might anticipate, releasing stronger and stronger runes, soul cores, or socketables in the future, and they might roll back in essence, or not roll back, but nerf in essence like this, right? Change it to 50% or something. And being able to get ahead of the curve and craft these items before any of those changes or tweaks happen is always a great thing. Not only just because it's fun, but you'll also be in possession of what is now a legacy item. And for the rest of the time you're playing PoE, those will obviously have no resupply, and so they become incredibly strong stores of value. And I cannot tell you the countless amount of mirrors of wealth I have made in PoE 1 from having kind of crafts like this. Now, I obviously have no looking a little bit far ahead with that statement there, but it is something you should consider. Now, since we checked out PoEDB there, we do know that this is going to be a suffix, right? Unlike the Essence of Delirium, which was a prefix. And so strategically, we have a couple of things to consider, right? We've got fracturing orbs, which there's basically no downside to. The only caveat to that being, for example, if we had tier 1 decks here, we apply the Essence of Horror, which can be used on either a normal or a magic item, meaning it can turn it either magic or turn it rare. And so I would recommend always doing that to turn it rare, but that'll add a third modifier, right? And so the worst case scenario would be if we exalted and then we got a really bad suffix, and that really bad suffix ended up being the one that the fracture hit. The reason why the fracture would even be necessary in the first place is going to be largely tied to the likely item level of the modifier, which is, why don't we stop speaking in theoreticals and we'll just do this on one pair of them here, and just to actually see in real time. And it doesn't actually say, but I suspect it is item level 1. And we can see there, it is the suffix. It doesn't have the tier number beside it. But yeah, I suspect it is item level 1. Do I have a Whitling? Maybe I'll buy a Whitling here just to check. Sorry for not pre-preparing this. Both of the modifiers that are on this pair, actually, you know what? So it's a waste of buying a Whitling anyway. The Lightning Res is item level 82, so is the move speed. So those are the highest item level mods you can have. So it really wouldn't improve anything to have that being highlighted. But I do suspect it is item level 1. And so what I was suggesting there with respect to the worst case scenario would be to use an Exalt here, and for that Exalt to hit a really bad suffix. And again, if we were to fracture that. So one way we can get around that situation happening, since again, when you're doing crafting, in particular, if you're trying to do a very late stage craft, which, my ladder crafting method is kind of what I'll be sort of referring to as a sort of underpinning framework here. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll leave a link below at the end here when I'm done recording. But it just, explains how to, within the confines or possibilities of PoE 2, how you can sort of deterministically craft in the game. So yeah, the one way we can get around that, and again, this doesn't absolve us from the possibility of hitting a bad modifier, but we can make sure that it hits a prefix like we just did there, so that if we do get a bad fracture, we know that at least the fracture won't be locked. Oh yeah, it's bad fracture. Why did I ever doubt myself? Come on, people. Come on. RNGesus, get out of here. It's the profit. Never lose, baby. Anyways, yeah, so now we don't have to worry about that, of course. This is one of the fun parts of recording live all the time, I guess. Let's see. Let's get 5 whittlings here. And the 5 whittlings will cost you 23 divs. Boom. Boom. And let's see what we can do here. Ooh, a little cold resi. Oh, look at that. Perfect shock reduction. We're definitely going to put that into another res. But I will, because we have several pairs of boots, I won't throw too many hundreds of tips into that right away off the bat. Because we do have lots of other ones to go through here. But anyways, that's great that it worked out right away. I suppose I could cut these videos short. But we will fully flesh this out. I do know that some of you guys love the longer form content where I kind of go through all these caveats and winding diatribes. It's just in my nature to do so. I do stream, 60 to 80 hours a week. And so I get asked a lot of the same questions over and over. So when I make these recorded videos, I try to be thorough and kind of cover all the questions or sort of plot holes that people might have in following my line of thinking or logic when I explain things, simply because I get inundated with the same questions time and time again. And so if it seems like I'm ever, over complicating or overstating things, it's simply just because it's a reflection of what I'm being asked day to day. I do know that some of you guys just want me to kind of get to the point, but I'll try and find a middle ground where everyone could be happy here. And with that being said, I will immediately now shut up and not be a hypocrite. So, outside of the fact that we did just get super lucky right there, we can do that as well with all of these pairs that we have here because these are double tier ones. But before we jump right into that one, what we're going to do here is take the Essence of Haste, and we're going to take that to these item level 82 normal Sandsworn Sandals. And the reason we're using the Essence of Haste is because you'll notice that this gives a normal item speed modifier, and the only possible speed modifier on boots is movement speed. Movement speed has a total weighting of 6,000. There are 6 tiers, and each one of them is equally weighted, which means we're just as likely to get tier 1 move speed as we are any other tier. And so 1 in 6 in these should get 35%. I don't know, naturally, that's not going to happen. Come on, you son of a... There we go. Whew. Right, another one. Right in the buzzer beater there, boys. Oh, and of course, the stun threshold. Now, it depends on what the price is for these. I know I can't complain. We just hit the first fracture. So I will redact that complaint there. But what's actually most important here, though, with these is actually the suffix, because we are adding a suffix with the essence if we decide to use an essence. Since you can always redo prefixes. And despite the fact that movement speed 35% is an item level 82 modifier, so that might give the pretext or the pretense of it being rare somehow. It really is not. It depends what boot base that you're crafting on, but it's actually not that rare of a mod. Evasion ES boots, for example, only have a prefix pool of 44,000 weight. And as I said, movement speed is 6,000 of that, with the 35% being 1,000. So even on your first exalt for a prefix, you'd have a 1 in 44 chance. And then naturally for your second and third exalt on the prefixes, depending on what mod you're blocking previously, you'd have a higher and higher chance on that. The most valuable boot bases almost always are going to be ES ones, just because ES is definitely a little bit more tied into the base defenses of its armor and pieces of gear. They have added certain things that make evasion a bit more competitive, but armor, I would say, is still is lagging quite a bit behind in third place there. Boom, 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 boom. But that doesn't mean that you should necessarily neglect these things, right? Because there's always, there's always implications to both sides. The Sandsworn Sandals, I believe, have a base energy shield of 72, if memory serves. It's hard for me to tell because I put quality on all of these. And, well, actually, I guess we can look because these don't have any scaling. So this is 50 energy shield on this with the quality. And these are 90 energy shield. However, you do get the benefit of 132 ES. A lot of ES builds, unless they're going CI, just by virtue of in particular this league, because so many people are playing, you know, Amazons and Deadeyes. They're going to be, what the heck is this guy? What's this? Oh, 55 div sale. Okay, I'll take the invite for a 55 div sale. Man, things are going well during this video. What else do we have? I turned off my DMs there. Oh, 45 divs, 90 divs, 135 divs, 140 divs in the last 20 minutes. That's not a bad haul. We'll do this. We'll just do this one trade. Sorry for interrupting my ever organized stream of consciousness here, chat. Chat, sorry, you guys aren't chat. Oh my god, I hate when people do this. Fine. If you're new to the game, guys, just in terms of trading etiquette, it's not cool to like offer, like if you're gonna make an offer, do it when you're right away, not like right as you're about to trade. I mean, this guy at least had it packed up, but occasionally people will come to the hideout and like 15 minutes after they DM you, send you a random invite, show up in your hideout, something's listed for like 100 divs, and then like the second they're about to trade, after you've waited for them for 10 minutes, we'll throw in like 60 and be like, is 60 cool? That's just, you're not going to win any friends over by doing that. It's okay to make offers, but I know that this is just sort of a cultural thing in different parts of the world. People have a higher or lesser degree or propensity for haggling. But in PoE, though, you know, like plus minus, like let's say 10 to 20% of a listed price in particular, they do actually have separate mechanisms. Exact price means that's fixed. Negotiable price, obviously, is what it indicates. But most people tend to kind of ignore that anyways. If you are going to offer on something, though, again, 10 to 20%. If you're going like 40, 50, 60, 70, you're more likely to get ignored than you are to get an item. Just a little bit of a tangent, but you know, if something's like 100 div, or let's say, sorry, I'll put it in more of a relatable value. Let's say something is 10 divs, right? Offering 8 is appropriate. Offering 3 is not. A lot of the time, it seems that people I trade with, they're not super focused or hyper focused on like a cost accounting calculus there or anything like that. Just kind of seems like they want to win. You know, I've actually had times where I increase the price on all of my items in anticipation of people wanting to offer on them, and it ends up, I'll change it from 50 to 70, and then they'll offer 50 on the 70, and then it seems like it's a win-win. But I tend to do that more regionally because, again, there are different areas in the world that have different propensities there, and with respect to the frequency in which they haggle. In any case, getting back to the boots here, that's not super important. What we need to remember here is that, sorry, let's hide these whispers. What we need to remember here is that if you're going to go for the fracture, and again, you don't absolutely have to, if you're going to use the essence, you can do so like we did right here, right? We just popped one on. Where else did we put one? Popped one on here. We could just go for the suffix outright in this situation, rather than on this first one here, we went for the prefix to kind of cover our ass. You could always just go right away for the suffix. Move speed, that's a great fracture too. That's a great fracture. Nothing wrong with that. Why don't we YOLO this one? Oh, shock duration. Here, why don't we check this out here? So, because that's not a tier 1, we should be, if this rolls away, yeah. So I do think that that's going to be an item level 1 mod. So a situation like this is one that I was just describing that's not ideal. That's not a terrible reduced shock duration roll. 60% is the highest. However, if we were to hit that with the fracture, that would be less than ideal. And we hit the move speed again. Everything's coming up, James, today, baby. Let's go. All right, we hit move speed twice, and we hit 100% on this one. That's great. Yeah, but on this guy here, that shock duration, we're going to not really want to have on there, but we don't really have a mechanism to get rid of that now, unless we just YOLO it, right? And what I should say is that these essences are likely to become very expensive. I bought these at a price much earlier, like, you know, immediately upon hearing about the changes, or reading about the changes, and so I paid only a few dibs for them. Last I checked, they've been fluctuating in price like crazy. Obviously, there's some people reacting to this. I think there tends to be a bit of an overreaction anytime something is announced as an upcoming or forthcoming nerf or buff. There tends to be an overreaction to that news. Like, for example, when they said omens are going to be more common, you know, the price of them like halved in certain situations. And similarly, despite the fact they said that these essences are going to be more common, just the proposed strength that can potentially come from these has caused their prices to go crazy up, right? Crazy up. That not very grammatically nuanced there, but yeah, it's gone up a lot. So I'm not really sure when you guys start watching this what the price is going to be on those essences. But if it is out of reach for you guys, because that is possible, as a heads up, there were times today where I got them for a few divs each, as I said, varying kind of like between like 4 to 8. I think the most I paid for one was 11. Actually, here, why don't we just check right now? What time is this? This is 12:08 p.m. on May the 27th. Let's see how much they cost now. Essence of Horror. All right. They're 24.5 divs now. Well, I had what did I have there? Like 10 of them. So we would have made 200 divs in 24 hours by doing nothing. That's kind of crazy. There was a point earlier where there were like none for sale, and the only one that was for sale was like 40 divs. So I threw one up as like a YOLO Hail Mary to see if I could get someone to buy it at 30. But the fact that it's gone back down now does mean that there's probably people who have been speculating on these, and as I said, there's these reactions, overreactions, whatever. So 24.5 is the cheapest you can buy for. The best offer on one is 23. 23. That's good. You know, I might even take that person up on one of those ones. We'll see what goes on with these other things here. I'll try to keep the video a little bit on the let's say, what is it, 26 minutes. We'll aim for under 45 on this one. Because the true strength of this is really only going to manifest itself when you get down to oh right, we don't have an option there now, do we? Oof. Yeah, it's gonna be tough without the fracture to actually get to take care of that. Let's see here. I do think I prefer adding the prefix, though. Come on, 100! Oh, it's the wrong 100! God damn it! We're getting so lucky. We're getting both very lucky and very unlucky at the same time. We hit a 100% ES fracture, 100% effect fracture, and 235 move speeds. In this situation, obviously, we're definitely rooting for the 100% effect. Ooh, shit! That's the first one we missed. R.I.P. boys on that guy. All right, let's see what we can do here. Ah, that sucks. Hybrid's no bueno there. I'm just thinking this through here. I mean, if we have... So this is the thing, right? Because we've got to get the double sockets on this to really get, like, the maximum value out of it. Especially if they're 24.5 divs each. You obviously don't want to waste these. But because they're an item level 1 mod, it really does mean that you are going to leave yourself kind of at the whims of what you get. At least with respect to the suffixes. So I can't stress this enough with that in mind. I would definitely prioritize your suffixes here, guys. Okay, oh my god, that was barely English. I would definitely prioritize your suffixes here going into it. The move speed you can put back on. Obviously, if you can get a double tier 1... magic pair of boots, that would be ideal. But obviously that's not always going to be the case. I do suspect that the price of these boots, especially 35% move speed ones, even when they're magic, is probably going to go pretty cray-cray with people anticipating this. But, you know, I mean, even if that is the case, I know a lot of people have been... taking a step back from the league and, you know, waiting for content patches. So maybe this is a fun pursuit some people can undertake. Ooh, there's tier 1. Oh, there's tier 1 cold. Okay. Pair of these extra tier 1s. All right. The reason why I know nulls are very expensive, the reason why I'm actually using those instead of just buying a new pair of boots is because the last I looked, and again, because we're recording this video here, I won't drag it up and search it up again. But it was like if you want to get 35% move speed on a pair of these, you were looking at over a div each. Nice. Oh, double tier 1, let's go! Yeah. All right. I'm wondering if I should divine that even. Actually, yeah, I should definitely divine. Oh, let's see what the exalt is first. I keep forgetting because I didn't obviously pay nearly as much as their price. Ooh. Yes! Ha ha! There we go, boys. There we go. Nice. Nice. Yes. All right. Great. So I just wanted to make sure we got a pair of each one, right? The quick slip and the sandsworn, definitely the most important. I don't even know if this mod shows up on the trade site, does it? Let's see. Holy cow, guys! Look. Oh! All right. Why don't we check this out? Let's see how much a fracture on these is worth. $95 divs. That's on a dragon scale. How about on the sandsworn? Oh! $260 divs right there. Are there any quick slips here? It's all sandsworns. Oh, is that quick slip? Charm shoes, dragon scale. Oh, here, let's go. Dragon scale, the Dune Runner sandals are not the tier 1 base. It blows my mind that people would put like a 25 div essence onto a tier, like a not highest level boot base. You can see these are all on sandsworns. Obviously, sandsworn has the highest ES potential, but don't discredit quick slips. They are definitely getting slept on a little bit there, I would say. But, wow, we got some great fractures there, lads. All right, let's move these fellas over here. Move this fella over here. The cold res there. We got that move speed there. And, yeah, what I was saying, sorry, with the boots before I interrupted myself there. Oh, fire res. Oh, tier 2. Have those as well. Is that just, you know, take your, like, there's not necessarily a rush to get these out. Again, oh, the hell is going on there? Oh, please don't tell me I'm getting hacked. Oh, okay, 1 second, YouTube, I'm gonna hide my thing. What do you mean I've been signed in a new location? Oh, come on. I have been having a rough go of things. Oh, phew. Whew. With respect to like cybersecurity stuff over the past little bit, boys. So that was a heart drinker. It was just a little blip in the game there. But yeah, no, if you're sorry, to get back to what I was saying there. If you're interested in making something like this or just trying to prepare one ahead of time, it might be better in certain circumstances to do what I'm doing right now, and that is to just actually go for the annul. I know the annuls are like 8 to a single divine, which is definitely expensive. No way around that. I'm not trying to minimize that, but you know, these kinds of situations where people react sort of fervently in response to proposed or forthcoming changes, there's often I would say, an overreaction on people's parts to try and anticipate future market movements. And a lot of the time, people actually act rather irrationally as a result and kind of overcompensate. And so I remember when I looked earlier, the cheapest pair of Sandshorn sandals, like a white pair of them, was 1 div, and with 35% move speed, it was 8 divs. So there's an opportunity for profit there, definitely too, if the 100% stuff doesn't interest you. The the market will act as the market will act, I suppose. It's hard to anticipate, obviously, if with like any degree of certainty. You know, if things will be more expensive when it goes live, as a result of people sort of more universally understanding the power potential here, or if things will be, or if things will be less expensive because of the increased or proposed increased drop rates towards essences. Obviously, no one has the answers there, and anyone who pretends otherwise is lying to you. You can only act on the information you're given and try to you know, critically think about it and minimize your potential for failure and optimize your path towards success. And if you pay due diligence to that process, over time, you'll certainly come out with better outcomes. What I'm trying to debate in my mind here, sorry for my slowing speech patterns, is whether or not it's worthwhile to go for the double tier one prior to throwing that essence on, or if I should just go for just the tier 1 suffix. Because what I could do is just ignore the prefix, right? And then I can do the next exalt I can do a dextral exalt or whatever they're called, where I can force it to go towards the suffix. And so if we hit triple tier 1 suffixes, so we get the 100%, the T1 that's already on there, and the other tier 1, we don't actually even need the fracture. Because obviously if we fracture a suffix, big whoop, we've already got the triple tier 1, and if we fracture a prefix, it would only be a 1 in 4 to do so, but the prefixes are not particularly difficult to get because, you know, ES or ES evasion if you're going the hybrid one, and move speed are all like 1,000 weighted mods. Or sorry, even if life too, if you're going for life as well, it's not too difficult to get those. The omen I'm referring to, by the way, to force a exalt to go to a prefix is sinestral exaltation and dextral exaltation on the suffix side. The reason for any kind of like hesitance on my part is simply just because these essences at the moment at least are like 25 tips, which is crazy. One thing, by the way, sorry, I know this isn't related to the video, but I was trying to think of ways I could, when the stuff was going on with Twitch, of ways I could improve my YouTube content. And so I went through to try and look at feedback I was getting on videos. Believe it or not, the most common sort of criticism I get is people getting mad at me about the cost of crafting. I think this is self-evident, but guys, I have nothing to do with the availability of omens, nor do I have anything to do with like the macro factors that influence the quote-unquote invisible hand of the economy, as it were. Not that omens are perfectly elastic or anything, but I obviously have nothing to do with the price of omens. I recognize that it's really expensive. Hopefully they find a better middle ground. When I'm trying to teach you guys about crafting, different ways to think about it, I'm really just trying to show you like the optimal way, or at least get you, and this is obviously for those of you that have a sincere interest in getting a better grasp of that, technique or skill set, or whatever you want to refer to it as. It's not, I don't make these videos to try and lord over you how much more money I have and call you like peasants or idiots or anything for not doing it that same way. I recognize that, if you see me using a few hundred divs in a video, kind of in a blasé fashion, that it probably feels a little bit disconnected from your own experience. But do keep in mind that, you know, I stream like 80 hours a week. I probably play just as much. I singularly focus on crafting and trading, and I've done so for 13 years. I've made more mirror items than any person on the planet. The first economic manifesto I wrote for the game was 10 years ago. I have over 400 videos on this. I've made over 30,000 mirrors. I have a guild. I have like people on stream whenever I need help with things. I can ask people for help, and I can leverage relationships and stuff, right? Like the conditions in which I play are going to be different from any of your guys. And so, you know, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who somebody else is today. All right, you'll be a lot happier, and also just understand. Hopefully, you do understand, or can at least take away that. More so than anything, I just want to help you guys understand the framework, or get your minds thinking in a way kind of logically about this, almost like I think of crafting sort of like a Sudoku, right? Where it's like you don't know the rules to a Sudoku. Somebody tells you, hey, there's one way to fill out this board. There's like 6 numbers filled out on this 9x9 board. They're like, yeah, only one correct way. Good luck. And they walk away. You're going to be like, what the fuck? There's no way I can do this. This is just complete chance. And it's almost impossible. Why would I ever pursue this undertaking? But when you realize the Sudoku board is actually not just one big 9x9 puzzle, but 9 3x3 puzzles, and each one of those little 3x3s is like a microcosm of the bigger picture, and that if you apply like logic and reason, and you can actually solve each one of these tiny little mini puzzles, and every single time you add a number by following a certain steps that can be like logically deduced, every single addition makes the subsequent step easier, right? Not only within the 3x3 puzzles, but also within the 9x9. Every time you solve a 3x3 tile, every subsequent one becomes easier. So this overwhelming sort of big picture task that might, you know, hit you in the face, make you resent the people that do it, call it gambling, and dismiss it as being meaningless. I get it. I know that it's convoluted, but if you put like due attention into you know, trying to break it down into these sort of more manageable 3x3 little puzzles, I think that you'll come to find it's a lot more pleasurable of a pursuit. There's a lot of upside to it, financially and just in terms of gearing yourself, and that you might actually really come to enjoy it. And I like to think of myself as an ambassador to that pursuit, and I've done so for a long time. So it's not. You know, I don't see my success in any one of your successes as being zero sum. And so I know the comments are always going to come. It's just a part of the internet. But just to clarify for those of you that might think otherwise, I have nothing to do with the price of omens or the availability of them. I'm not a developer of the game. And so hopefully you can take this in, you know, perhaps a different light, in case that was a criticism you've levied my way over the times you've watched. But if not, hey, different strokes, different folks. So why don't we wrap this up here? I said, well, under 45 minutes. We're at 43. What's important to remember here? Let's go over the key points of this video. Don't. Sorry. Shoot, ADD, what was I saying? Yeah, sorry, the core points of this video. All right, 5% movement speed runes coming your way, boys. We got those in the Pharaoh's Rune of the Chase. In case you guys are curious, if you didn't check out this forum post, here's some of the other runes. We got Wander Staff, +1 to level of spell skills. Boots with the 5% move speed. Body armors with the 10% damage taken from mana before life. That'll be interesting on something like Morwar. Helmets, you get curses apply -8 cold res. Martial weapons can add an additional poison. And this is only a few of them, obviously. I believe they said at some point here they're releasing like 20 of them, 21 of them or something like that. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So still a lot to look for. 22 new runes right there. 22 new runes. This is only 5 of them, right? So the implications beyond this could be crazy, right? And that's maybe a reason to even double down on these, right? I don't think there's anything that they showed here that's specific to gloves, for example, right? Holding on to some of these essences for a glove craft, there might be a really crazy new glove rune. There might even be a crazier boot rune. Who knows, right? What's cool, at least with the sockets and runes, you can swap them in and out, right? So maybe something to anticipate there. With respect to this craft itself, though, The runes add crazy value. The fact that this essence exists means that you can get the double the value from those new crazy runes, and the fact that you can corrupt an additional socket means you can get 4 times the value from these new crazy runes. So instead of 5% move speed, crank that all the way up to 20% move speed, and potentially even greater implications with other crafts. If you're using an Essence of Corruption, it's going to be a 1 in 3 to add an additional socket. So for myself, and I'll record this in case anything crazy happens, of course, I'll be streaming this as soon as I finish this video and post it. I will be corrupting these ahead of time just so I can have one ready to go. Try and get one 6 tier 1 nice and pretty. And we'll do 3 of each boot base, probably just so that on the whole, it's obviously it's a 1 in 3. I'll craft 3 quick slips, and I'll do 3 sandsworns. Probably cost me a few hundred divs, but we'll hopefully get at least 1 of each with 2 sockets, and that way when the patch is released, we will be ready to go zoom zoom. Now I know what you're thinking, Belton, why do you need to go zoom zoom? What are you gonna do? Run from one side of your hideout to the other one? You're goddamn right, chat and YouTube. I don't know why I keep saying chat. I've been getting too much Zoomer content on my YouTube shorts. You're goddamn right, YouTube. I'm going to marathon from both sides back and forth, and it's going to be glorious. And I hope that the rest of the patch is glorious. I hope that some of these announcements have reinvigorated some of you guys. I know a lot of people have been kind of down on the game recently, and it's not like I'm impervious to that. Just, I've been around long enough to know there's ebbs and flows, there's ups and downs, booms and busts, but trust the process, and try to make the best of things where you can. And hopefully this brings a new level of joy, fun, customization, and agency to players that wasn't present in the first iteration of this league. I'm looking forward to it. I think they said that they pushed it back a little bit just to make sure it was coming out correctly. So instead of the end of this week, I believe it's the end of next week. I've surpassed 45 minutes. God damn it. I'm sorry about that. But I think I covered the major points here, guys. If you have any questions, let me know below. I will, if there's anything that I overlooked, I'll be happy to answer you guys in the comments down there. If there's anything also, too, if you guys want me to go over all of the patch notes or make like separate breakdown videos with, specific things like this one, happy to do that as well. And otherwise, I will see you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for anyone that's tuning in for the first time and decided to join us on the journey, become a sub or anything like that. Always appreciated, guys. And see you in raid class. Let's get that money, boys. See you next time. Peace.